welcome here. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for coming back and watching another video. So in today's video, I want to give you my honest opinion about 4 zero waste products that I have tried recently. So not only do I want to talk about the products and the actual efficacy of the products, I also want to talk about the brands that produce them and what they're doing or not doing from a sustainability standpoint. So there's 4 things total I want to talk about today, everything from poop to earwax. So let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about butts. The first thing on the list is a bidet. The bidet that I have is made by Tushy. So when my husband and I were traveling in Southeast Asia, we got kind of hooked on bidet life. Using a bidet was kind of the only thing that was available in Southeast Asia. You don't throw toilet paper in the toilet, so everybody cleans their butt with water. So I was a little unsure at first. It felt kind of weird, but after doing it for 3 months, there was absolutely no going back. So when we moved into this house, when we got back to the United States, we were like, we need to install a bidet. However, we do not own this house, we rent, so installing some sort of fixture like a traditional bidet in our bathroom, not an option. So Tushy is a bidet that you can affix to most conventional toilets, and it's super easy to hook up. You just have to have your toilet kind of near your sink. Their website says it needs to be within 9 feet of your sink. You hook up the water and you're good to go. So first, let's talk about why you would use a bidet. I kind of think about it like this, if you got poop on your arm, would you take a piece of dry paper and just wipe the poop off your arm? Probably not. So why is that how you clean poop off your butthole? It feels so much cleaner to me to spray water instead of wiping with dry paper. So that's really one of the biggest benefits. But when we're looking at this from a sustainability standpoint, what is the advantage to using water over paper? I think Tushy does a really good job of explaining their sustainability mission on their website. It's definitely understated. I think that sustainability is not kind of their main message out in the world, but I do think there's some important sustainability advantages to using a bidet like Tushy. For instance, it takes 37 gallons of water to produce 1 roll of toilet paper. And when you use a bidet, on average, you use 1/8 of a gallon of water every time you go number 2. So yes, it does use water to use a bidet, but it uses far less water than it actually uses to produce the toilet paper that you would typically use to wipe your butt. Tushy does claim on their website that a bidet user over their lifetime will use 75 to 80% less toilet paper than a non-bidet user. And additionally, at least with the Tushy, I can't really speak about any other bidet brands, but the Tushy does not use any electricity. You just hook it up to the sink and it uses pressure to squirt water on your bum. We sprung for the higher price point model that is the Tushy Spa model because it has the ability to spray warm water. Especially in the colder months, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna wanna spray cold water on my bum. No, thank you. So I really do like that feature. However, it takes time for the water to warm up, and this is going to be dependent on your water system where you live. But here in this house, it takes a minute for the water to get hot. So if I just turn it on and spray my butt, it's going to be cold water. So there is a thing called a nozzle clean mode. So you can turn that on and that just washes water over the nozzle. So it is good for cleaning, but it's also good for heating up the water. So you can, in theory, turn that on, let the water warm up as it's going just straight down into the toilet, and then you can turn it towards the bum wash mode when you're ready and the water will be warm. That does kind of waste a little bit of water, and I've tried to only do that in situations where I'm really cold and don't want the cold spray on my butt. So if you're considering the spa model with the warm water, just know that it's dependent on how fast the water in your house heats up. And then the last thing on the Tushy, maybe I just have a sensitive behind, but the pressure of the actual spray is really hard. And there's settings for it. You can turn it all the way up or all the way down. I barely turn it on and it is more than enough. So if you have a butt that is difficult to clean for whatever reason, this will definitely spray hard enough to get anything out that you need to get out. Okay, was that enough talking about poops and butts? I think that's definitely the most I've said butt in any video I've ever made. But all right, so the second thing on the list is actually a DIY product. So for anyone who's been following along with this channel recently, you probably know I shaved my head probably 6 weeks ago or so. And my hair has grown back finally to the point where I can't just get out of the shower and go on with my day. It needs some taming. When I get out of the shower, my hair is it needs help. It sticks out in all directions, especially in the front and these like little, what do you call these? Like my little sideburns here. Like those like to stick straight out. I have like a billion cowlicks all over my head. It's real awkward. So I'd heard a lot about a flaxseed hair gel that supposedly works wonders. So I will caveat this by saying I've only been using this for 3 days, so I'm not completely sure of all my feelings on it yet, but I do definitely have some thoughts. I got this recipe from another YouTuber. I will link the video down below, but essentially what I did was mix a half a cup of flaxseed with 2.5 cups of water, and then you bring that to a boil. You let it boil for like 7 or 8 minutes until it's the consistency of, honestly, snot. Like gooey, hangy, gross snot. And then I just took a glass jar with a funnel and a nut milk bag, and I just poured it into the nut milk bag and squeezed the snot out of it. And I will say, if you're trying this at home, the nut milk bag, the holes in it were a little bit too small. I think a cheesecloth probably will work better, because I had kind of a hard time like squeezing the gel out of the bag. It sort of took me forever, and I kind of made a giant mess. But from that recipe that I just gave you, I got about this much hair gel from it. So when I use it, basically what I do is just put a little bit on my fingertips and then start to run it through all of my hair. Just get it kind of all over, and then use my fingers kind of as a comb to lay the hair in the direction that I want it to go to. And I try and kind of make like a makeshift part in my hair. I just want my hair to look like a little bit more intentional than just like I shaved it and it's growing out now. And I'm using it these first 3 days. I think my honest evaluation is like, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It works. It for sure works. And it's really moisturizing. Like it is really hydrating for my hair. Even when I was making it, like my hands felt really soft while I was making it. So I definitely think it's like healthy for the hair on my head, but it's kind of no match for my like very fine, sticky, outy hair. As the day goes on, like the sideburns don't really stay down, and I can't get my cowlick in the front to stay down at all. Like I can put as much of the hair gel on it as I want, and it just will continue to stick straight up. And when it dries, it does kind of have like a wet appearance to it, and it is a little bit crusty. So you can definitely feel that there's product in your hair. It's not like a lightweight, nothing there kind of product. But I definitely think I'm going to keep using it. I didn't want to invest in a product just because my hair is only going to be in this stage for such a short amount of time. I just wanted something easy to kind of tame it for a few weeks while it goes through this phase. And this works perfectly for that. And it was super cheap. I bought the flax seeds in bulk. It was like less than $1 for a half a cup. And then it's just water. So 7 out of 10, but still would recommend. All right, so next up, I want to talk about Bite toothpaste bits. So I have mentioned these in a few prior videos. They're in my vlog last week. I will link that down below. It's one of my top 10 favorite zero waste products. Gypsy, my dog, insists on laying right underneath the tripod. So every time she moves, she's moving it around. So I'm sorry if this is like all over the place. Say hi. I also listed them as one of my favorite top 10 zero waste products. I am all about this. For the purposes of this, I wanted to just review the actual product a little bit more, as well as the company. So these are actually a toothpaste tablet. You take 1 tablet every time you want to brush your teeth, you put it in your mouth, you crush it up with your teeth, you wet your toothbrush, and then you brush. I was highly skeptical at first about if this was gonna work or not, but I was pleasantly surprised. My mouth feels really clean. The tablet foams up really nicely in your mouth like a traditional toothpaste would. I also really like to travel with these. They're not a liquid, so they don't count towards your liquids for TSA if you're gonna go on a plane, if we can ever really travel again. They're not gonna make a mess. I love these. So essentially you buy these, they come in the glass container, and then it's on a subscription model. So every 4 months, they'll send you enough for the next 4 months, and they'll send them to you in a craft paper bag that's packaged in a cardboard box that is filled with recycled newspaper. So we received our next 4-month subscription of these last week. And I will say that I think that they have changed their formula. One of my biggest critiques about Bite in the first place was that the tablets fell apart really easily. So you would end up in the bottom of your jar with all these half tablets and like ground up powder. They just weren't very durable, and they definitely fixed that. The new tablets that I got are super durable. You don't get that white dusty powder everywhere. They're not breaking apart, but you can definitely tell the difference in your mouth. Like it's definitely like gummier. Like when I go to spit out the toothpaste, it's kind of like like the snot from the hair gel. But I still really like it. It just was something different to kind of get used to and just something to know if you've had Bites in the past. So let's talk about Bite from a sustainability standpoint. I feel like they are a company who is just doing it right. Not only because of their commitment to sustainability, but also because of the communication around that commitment. So just on a basic level, like obviously they come in a glass container, it has an aluminum lid, it's shipped without any plastic. Formula is harsh chemical free, it's vegan friendly, it checks all of those boxes. But the thing I really like about Bite is they really go one step further than that. So let's talk about shipping practices, for instance. I think a lot of people question whether or not it's more sustainable for you to order something online and have it dropped off at your house versus going out to the store and buying a plastic tube of toothpaste. And I think Bite does a really good job of not only committing themselves to really reducing the carbon footprint of an online shipping model, but also educating the consumer about what it means to shop online sustainably. So when we think about online shopping, there are ways to do it sustainably and there are ways to do it less sustainably. The way that Bite explains it is they're essentially leveraging an already existing shipping path. So they use the USPS to ship all of their things. When you think about USPS, they have an established route they have to take. They drive by most houses anyways. So on average, it will take longer to arrive, but you're using far less resources in order to have it arrive at your doorstep. Versus if you choose something like 2-day shipping, there's gonna be a truck that's gonna go out of its way to establish a route to drop it off at your house. It's sort of likened to the idea of taking a bus versus driving your own car somewhere. So I feel like you can really tell when a brand is actually committed to sustainability versus putting on a sustainability facade. And I really do think that Bite is committed to sustainability and education around sustainability. 2 thumbs up. All right, I saved the best for last, the worst for last, the last for last, the last swab for last. Let's talk about LastSwab. I have so many thoughts on this. I'm going to try and keep this organized and somewhat brief. So for those who don't know, LastSwab is a reusable cotton swab. I have been excited about this for so long. Since it came out, I have been dying to try it. So first, let's just talk about it as a product, and then we'll talk a little bit about the company. So the LastSwab comes in a corn-based plastic case. On the inside is a single cotton swab that's double-ended. The tips are rubber, and then the center is plastic. So let me just start with one of the worst things about LastSwab. The tip of the swab does not fit in my ear, like in the actual canal of my ear where I'd want to get the earwax out of. It's too big. Now, I couldn't really find a lot of other reviews saying that people couldn't fit it in their ear. Maybe I'm trying to stick it too far in my ear and you're not supposed to do that. Or maybe I just have really small ear holes. I don't know. Regardless, I was super disappointed to be like, get in there. Couldn't get it in there. Secondly, it doesn't really replace a cotton swab. I have mentioned this in another video because I've talked about being excited about this product for a long time, but one thing I really like about cotton swabs is using it to get residual water out of your ear after you take a shower. It's just like the best feeling to me in the world. This doesn't do it. However, the little nubbies on the end do feel really good in my ear. Like it's a nice feeling to kind of just like massage the inside of your ear like that. Like I do like the feeling of it. It just was not very effective. And I could get like the very tip into the part of my ear that might have some earwax, but even so, every time I pulled it out of my ear, there was never anything on it. Like I didn't get the sense that it was cleaning any dirt or dust or earwax or anything out of my ear. It really was just like giving me a nice ear massage, which is that worth $13? Probably not. I wanted to love this, like so much I wanted to love this. I was so excited about it. It's such an innovative idea. I love companies who think about things like from a completely new perspective. Like, why do cotton swabs have to be disposable? Great question, like round of applause for trying to think of a solution to something we just always think of as disposable. That's amazing. But that's like kind of where it ends for me. Okay, so let's just talk about the actual product and the materials it's made out of. The case is plastic. It is a corn-based plastic that is biodegradable, but it has to be in an industrial composting system in order to compost or break down. Okay, like that's great. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. However, there was like a very specific FAQ on their website of like, why is your case not bamboo? And I was like, hey, good question. Why not make it bamboo? Renewable resource, really sustainable. Why not? And the answer to it was basically that it's not sanitary. It wouldn't be able to be sanitized. Okay, like I sort of hear you, but why not? So think about something like a bamboo straw. Like we wash that with soap and water and then we stick it in an orifice. Like why couldn't we wash this with soap and water and stick it in an orifice? I am not an expert by any means. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but this is just like the thought process in my head. Like why couldn't we just put this in bamboo and wash it with like soap and water or even alcohol? And they didn't go on to explain any of the why. It just was kind of like, that's not sanitary. Okay. And then let's talk about like the actual shaft of it. So like this is made of just plastic, non-recyclable, just a piece of plastic. And what they're saying on their website is this one piece of plastic is better than using 1,000 of what we traditionally think of as like a sustainable material. But it kind of ends there. I was like, well, why? Like, what does it take to produce this? Why did you pick this material? What is the actual carbon footprint of using a material like this versus using a more sustainable material? There just was not a lot of information or education or science backing anything that they were doing. It didn't even really seem like they took the time to understand their own impact of this product. For instance, if you look at the FAQs on their website, they say something to the effect of, it's better to use this one piece of plastic thousands of times than to use thousands of single-use items. But then in the very next FAQ down, it's like, how many times can you use this? And it says up to 1,000. So is it thousands or is it up to 1,000? Just be clear about what you're doing, why you're producing this, and how it's helping. Like I couldn't get that from anything on their website. And I'll be honest, like I didn't do an exhaustive like search of all of their communication on their social media. Like I didn't do a deep dive. I just was like, as a consumer, I'm gonna go to your website to buy this. What are you gonna tell me about it? So then let's talk about the shipping packaging. I actually saved it for the purposes of this video. So it comes in this box. This is great. This is compostable in any backyard compost. Could be recycled as well. Lovely, love this. But then it's packaged in this. It's just a plastic bubble wrap mailer. This is a company that is hanging its hat on sustainability, and this is what they're shipping in. Because this product didn't really work for me in all the ways that I need a cotton swab to work, and because I feel like there is a degree of some greenwashing going on here, I can't really recommend this. Maybe if your ear holes are bigger, or like you really like the feeling of massaging your ear hole and you just want to like do that a bunch. I don't know. No. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on LastSwab. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel a lot. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear of some zero waste products that you've tried out lately. And please make sure to subscribe down below. I put out new videos every Tuesday. I will see you on the next one. Bye everyone. What are you looking at? You're so cute. I wonder if it's time to buy a comb. Is that a duck? It's crusty. Efficacy of the problem. My back itches. So there are 4, that's 8. Yeah, stop moving it, girl. Ew.